AI just pulled a power move, okay? OpenAI is opening its first ever office in India. Sam Altman admitted that GPT-5 launch got totally screwed up. Indian users are picking up ChatGPT Go for less than $5 a month. And OpenAI is quietly releasing models that developers can tinker with for free. And all of this is happening at once right in front of us. Now, if that sounds like a lot, don't worry. We're going to break it down piece by piece so it actually makes sense, whether you're 10 or 110. All right? But first, a quick ask. See, a lot of y'all watch these episodes and forget to subscribe. It really helps me, keep bringing you these stories in plain English, y'all. So if today's breakdown helps you in any way, tap that button, drop a like, and let's roll. Okay? Now, let's get started with India because this is huge. All right? OpenAI is officially planting a flag in the world's most populous democracy by opening an office in New Delhi later this year. Right? I hope I'm saying that right. This is not just some symbolic move. India has nearly 1 billion internet users, an exploding student population, and ChatGPT usage there has quadrupled in the last year. All right, that's not growth, y'all. It's a wave. Okay. Now, OpenAI is now legally registered in the country, hiring staff locally and signaling that India is no longer just a consumer of tech. It's becoming one of the most important AI hubs on the planet. Okay? Sam Altman himself framed it this way. It's about making AI more accessible in India and for India, right? And accessibility is the key word here because when you think of access, don't just picture availability. Think pricing, right? India is an extremely price-sensitive market. That's why OpenAI's $4.60 ChatGPT Go plan is a game changer. It isn't just a cheaper tier, it's a deliberate strategy to make advanced AI affordable for hundreds of millions of people who would never pay $20 a month for a subscription. Okay, maybe we should think about this, America. All right, it's like this: if you sell a product that's $20 in the US, maybe 1 in 20 people buy it, right? But sell it at $5 in India, and suddenly you've tapped into a pool of users that's 5 times bigger, right? And those users aren't just numbers. They're students writing essays, entrepreneurs drafting pitches, workers learning new skills. Every interaction feeds OpenAI more data, and more data means better models. This is how accessibility turns into dominance, okay? And while OpenAI expands, it's also dealing with a mess back home. Sam Altman admitted that the GPT-5 rollout totally screwed up. His words, not mine, okay? Users felt that the new model lacked warmth. It was technically impressive, but people said it felt colder, less engaging. Now, that's a problem because ChatGPT isn't just software. For many people, it's become almost like a daily companion. So, what did they do? They rolled GPT 4.0 back into the premium tier for paying customers. Essentially, they admitted that the upgrade was too much of a downgrade in terms of personality, right? Altman even said it was heartbreaking because people really rely on ChatGPT emotionally, not just functionally, right? And here's the wild part. GPT-5 is so power hungry, it's using the energy equivalent of 1.5 million US households per day. That's like powering a whole city just for one AI model. On top of that, OpenAI is running out of GPUs, y'all, okay? Supply chains are maxed out. Demand is through the roof, and yet Altman is already talking about building new data centers that could cost trillions. That's trillions with a T, Okay? He even teased the idea of turning ChatGPT into a more social experience where it feels like hanging out with friends and half joking, half serious, mention buying the Chrome to control how billions of people access the internet, right? The teachable moment here: smarter doesn't always mean better, right? GPT-5 may be technically stronger, but what users actually wanted was warmth, relatability, and trust, right? An upgrade isn't just a software update, it's a relationship update. And if that relationship feels colder, then people notice, y'all. Okay, now let's swing back to India because there's another twist, right? Alongside the announcement, OpenAI launched ChatGPT Go, the new $4.60 per month plan we just touched on. All right, this is the lowest price subscription tier yet, and for India only. All right, the deal comes with plus tier perks, faster answers, higher usage caps, and fewer limits. Right now, this is huge for two reasons. First, it makes advanced AI more affordable in a country where average income levels are very, very different from the US or Europe, right? Second, it plants long-term loyalty. If your first serious AI experience costs less than a cup of Starbucks coffee and it delivers, right, you're probably sticking with that brand for years to come, right? And there's a deeper economic logic here. By making AI more affordable, OpenAI doesn't just gain customers, it seeds future developers, businesses, and creators who will build on top of ChatGPT, right? More users mean more data, and more data compounds into more power, right? Accessibility today equals dominance tomorrow, okay? Now, let's pull it back for a second. Put these pieces together, all right? Expansion into India, rollbacks for GPT-5, pricing tailored to local markets, and a renewed focus on warmth and trust. What do you see? See, it's not just about being the smartest model anymore. It's about being the most human first, the most trusted, the one that feels like it belongs in your life, right? Accessibility, stability, and emotional connections, right? That's the new AI trifecta. Boom, 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 okay? And here's another curveball. OpenAI just released something called GPT-OSS models, right? These are open weight variants of GPT-5 that developers can run locally. Now, let's be clear. This isn't open source. They're not giving away the training data or the full recipe, but they are handing over the weights, right, which are the mathematical backbone of the model, right? So think of it like this. You're not getting grandma's secret sauce, but you are getting the finished cake, and you can decorate it however you like, right? Developers can now fine-tune, repurpose, or adapt these models for their own projects for absolutely free, okay? Now, this comes at a time where, Chinese companies like DeepSeek are making waves with their own open models like R1, which are catching fire in developer communities, right? OpenAI clearly doesn't want to be left behind. They're striking a balance. Enough openness to keep developers engaged, but enough control to protect their crown jewels. The teachable point here, right? Open weight means the math of the model is out there, like a cookie recipe without the ingredient list, okay? You can remix it, experiment with it, but you don't fully own the foundation, okay? It's a compromise between transparency and control, okay? So, what does this all add up to? Let's connect the dots. India gets access. GPT-5 gets stabilization. ChatGPT Go brings affordability. GPT-OSS opens doors for developers. Together, this is a blueprint for responsible and inclusive AI growth. At least, that's the goal, right? Because at the end of the day, what wins isn't raw power, it's trust. And trust comes for three things: giving people access, giving them stability, and making sure that the technology feels less like a cold machine and more like a partner. All right? Got it? Good. So, here's your quick action playbook, right? If you are building AI tools, think localization first. Can your app speak to someone's culture, budget, and language, right? If you're deploying AI in your business, test not just the logic, but the feel. Does the upgrade improve connection, or does it make it worse, right? If you're building on top of models, check if open weight versions give you a cheaper, faster path to experiment, right? And, if you're leading a team, ask, how do we bake trust into our AI? So it's not just hype, but something, that people actually rely on. All right, that's today's download, y'all. OpenAI India, GPT-5 turbulence, cheaper AI access, and open weight models all point to the same thing. AI isn't just evolving, it's localizing, it's humanizing, and it's democratizing. All right? I appreciate y'all for tuning in to Applewhite Intel. If you learned something today, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share this with a friend who really, really needs to stay ahead, y'all. Okay? And here's my question for you, right? If you could get AI tools customized just for your region, like wherever you at, what feature would matter the most and why? Drop it down in the comments, y'all. I really want to know. All right, see y'all tomorrow.